one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
I can't even think about all of the shit I did to fit in. Past hard to watch like a fucking scary movie. I'm always happy to meet somebody that never knew me. Change for the better, hope niggas are living through me. I put it all on the wax so the people can know the true me. Hard to remain sane when the people you love the most is what's causing the damn pain. Y'all beef by the same thing, we ain't playing the same game. It's all for my family. She the girl of your fucking dreams, but to me she a plain Jane. You dipper and ball man, I dump when them calls came. This that higher level thinking. I'm the type to jump the fuck off of the shit before it's sinking. Not here for no new shit. My game slide to boost it. Ain't I don't have to prove shit. Rockstar fight the fool shit. My movie, this the new script. I want a life with no bullshit. Nigga, I know on these news clips. That's why I dap him and move quick. Won't be around when they move switch. Won't be around when they lose clips. Won't be around for they loose lips. Might be the reason they pull shit. Yeah.
Cashing in, say the way Liv did, well, that's like winning the lottery, isn't it? And I don't need to win the lottery because I work my ass off every week for a paycheck.
Oh, fuck the Mets. Oh, fuck the Mets. Oh, fuck the Mets. Yo, what is good? What is good? But it is pretty hot today. I'm not gonna lie to you. Got no shirt on. Got nothing but shorts on. I'm thawing it out here right now. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Thawing it out right now. It is hot. But listen, how are we doing today? It was a big weekend. I'm a little late on uploading the Extreme Rules breakdown, but it was such a great show. And being able to because usually my wrestling breakdowns will come right after, because the energy that I'm gonna be tired, because it's usually long shows, and I love long shows, so I'm not complaining about that. I want the shows to continue to be 4 or 5 hour long pay-per-views. That's what make them pay-per-views. That's what make them special. I would hate to be paying my Peacock subscription, just like I used to do with the WWE subscription, the $9.99 subscription. I'd hate to be paying those subscriptions and getting a pay-per-view that's the same length as a regular show. That would bother me. So anything that they can do creatively to make pay-per-views longer and exciting, I'm all for it. I'm never going to be with the crowd of people who like, oh man, I got to go to sleep and work. Bro, plan accordingly. Like, straight up, you're not bitching about NFL games and shit like that being long if they're exciting. Nobody complains when things are exciting, even though I do know I'm actually incorrect on that, because I actually do know people who complain even when shit all go right. So it is what it is on that. But the extra days gave me more time to, really sit on some of these matches, you know what I'm saying? But the common theme that I had throughout the weekend, watching the pay-per-view and whatnot, Bianca Belair is just an absolute. Y'all know how I feel about her if you watch my wrestling shows. But this is going to be a big Bianca Belair show. Like, this is going to be a huge Bianca Belair show. I believe she in my header. Like, Bianca Belair is it. Like, the way I felt about Charlotte Flair is exactly how I feel about Bianca Belair. Times 10 even. I don't want to be disrespectful to Charlotte, but they are her. Like, but what I am seeing from, bro, we'll get to it when we get to it. But Extreme Rules, before the show kicked off, they do the little kickoff show and whatnot. I was watching the kickoff show, and so if you also watch me, I'm not the biggest Jerry the King Lawler fan. I never really been a huge Jerry fan. But the older I got, the more irritated his announcing and his talking and his phrases and his, Jerry King Lawler is just for a specific type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to be a Jerry type of person to like Jerry, in my opinion, at this point. Because, I wish him well, but I just ain't a fan of him. But he did say something. He said, be wary of the old man in a business where young men don't last. I love that. That is very true. And he was talking about the Edge match. Like, be wary of an old man in a business where young men don't last. So, in this business, young men don't last long. But this old man been in this business long enough to become an old man in the business. That is a tough phrase or a tough quote. And then he followed it up by saying, you know, the first time I saw who we talking about? What's her name? Liv Morgan. You know, I was just blown away because I thought, man, this is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. I'm just like, man, this motherfucker, man. This dude about 80 years old, and the first time he seen Liv Morgan, who was probably in her early 20s. Just one of the beautifulest women. Like, man, how can you say the first thing I wanted to do was fuck her when I saw her without saying the first thing I wanted to do was fuck her when I saw her? Like, this dude, Jerry, bro. I'm telling you, like, I hope me talking the way I do about him don't never ruin an opportunity I might get in the future with WWE, man. But because I don't want to be one of them companies who get to talk about the WWE all the time and never be involved with the company. Because I love the WWE. I'm telling you, it's very rare that I hate anything or dislike anything. If I'm critical, it's going to be like legit criticism, not no BS I pulled out my ass because everybody else feel that way. Because my opinions on something that happened later on in the night is far different than what some people think. Or some other people's, the majority feelings on a certain topic. But Jerry the King Lawler just not for me. It just is what it is. Jerry's not for me. But we kicked off the show with the good old Donnybrook match. The good old Donnybrook match. I don't know what I don't know what that was, but listen, the definition of a Donnybrook match is a rowdy brawl. All right, so there you have it. 6-man tag. The Brawling Brutes took on Imperium. I hate the Brawling Brutes' entrances. It's not that I hate it. I just think it haven't developed enough for me. Like, I feel like it should feel bigger than it do. Or maybe I feel the way I feel about their entrance, but I really feel like their entrance is missable every week without Pat now. Without him doing a fight night, because Cole try to keep it alive, but he just don't do it the way Pat do. Speaking of Pat, I hope I don't forget this. I got to say something about Pat later on, bro. I got an idea that WWE should run with Pat. I act like they listen to my show, but yo, listen. Somebody might listen to my show from WWE and hear some of these ideas. And listen, I'm not charging them for it. I want to be entertained. I want to see them use these ideas. But talking about the Imperium entrance is so fire to me. Like, it kind of give me a lackluster feel when I see the Brawling Brutes entrance. But that's neither here nor there. That White Rabbit shit popped up towards the beginning of this match when they was doing the entrances and whatnot. But this was a great match. This was basically every match on the card, I believe, was basically an Extreme Rules match or some variation of it. And this is exactly how you kick off a show. This reminded me. For one, I think WWE kickoff shows great with tag team. Like, I don't think it's a company I've ever watched that kick off a show better with a tag team match than the WWE. Like, WWE can throw the Usos, they can throw New Day, they can throw these two teams. Like, anytime they got hot teams, they know we can kick off a show. Now, usually the dudes who was opening the shows most of the time was the New Day and the Usos, which I haven't been doing the wrestling shows lately, but the Usos and the New Day storyline has started. Listen. I'm not a fortune teller or nothing like that. I don't know the future. I couldn't give you the lottery numbers. I just watch a lot of fucking wrestling. Okay? I watch a lot of fucking wrestling. So when I tell you months in advance that they are going to have the WrestleMania is going to be the New Day taking on the Usos for those undisputed tag team titles, that's not me predicting the future because I'm smart or some shit like that. That's me watching a shit ton of WWE television and understanding what the New Day and the Usos have meant. They now start to bring up the reign because you know who the longest tag teams champions are all time? The New Day. You know who trying to take that? Who trying to get to that reign, to that number? The Usos. Like, they have been the defining tag teams of this generation, multiple generations at this point, it feel like. I look at those two as the greatest tag teams of all time. If you watch my wrestling shows, you already know how I talk about those two teams. But it was not surprising to me when the WWE fight, and I kept saying it throughout that throughout the New Day's losing, when they was losing to the Viking Raiders or the new Viking Raiders, whatever the fuck you want to call them. I said it. That was bad booking at the time by whoever was booking that. Because with the Usos running through teams at this point, and with the best team they had faced being the Profits, naturally you have to expect after these years apart now, because I understand the New Day and the Usos had like a 2-year span where they were the only two fighting for those titles, because they were the only two worthy enough to fight for those titles. The reaction you get when those two had it compared to when anybody else had it was noticeable. So I'm not gonna never be mad at the WWE for that. But this is what I will say. Now that this is here, now that I know, because I feel like this is definitely leading to a WrestleMania match eventually, and I'm jumping the shark because we're supposed to be talking about this Donnie Brooke match, but forgive me. Now that we are here, we are about to see some of the greatest tag team wrestling of all time. God forbid, and I hope this happens. Could you imagine if Big E get healthy and he can wrestle again before this get to Mania? Oh my God. See, the only viable tag team, in my opinion, once you put the Usos on this type of trajectory, once you start to solidify a team like this and they play their part, you play your part in the booking, everybody, their opponents play their part. Once that start to happen, it's only certain people you can see taking out said champion. For the Usos, it's only one team that has always been the team that was capable at any point in time of taking them out. And that was the New Day, which is why I thought it was terrible timing to try to put the Viking Raiders over using the New Day, because I already knew what that was when it started. They obviously they tried to put the Brawling Brutes over with the New Day. They tried to put the Viking Raiders over with the New Day. And when neither of those teams got to where you wanted them to get to, I knew eventually you were going to have to reset everything with the New Day, which is not hard because the New Day is one of the rare wrestling teams, wrestlers who can take losses. They can lose for an entire month and you would never notice it because they don't carry themselves as wrestlers who've lost. And I know that people say, well, that's a part of the story and yada yada. No. They have gotten to the point where a loss means just as much as a win. They are going to be the New Day regardless. Their reactions, matter of fact, they are no longer reacting as far as like a win or a loss because they solidified. They know what they are. They know they can get a reaction whenever they want to. That's why in the back of SmackDown, when they were doing a little thing with Woods and Kofi talking to Jimmy J and the colonizer Sami Zayn, that's why they said he said, find somebody and get a match. That's why Woods said the fans like us. Because unlike a lot of the teams that the Usos fight, where the bloodline is going to get the reaction because they the more favorite team, the New Day are the team that will get them the proper reaction and the New Day is a team that will get just as big a reaction because they are the New Day. And so because of that, I can't wait. I'm just telling you right now, I can't wait till the WrestleMania get here. But back to the Donnie Brooke match. Okay, so this was a great match. A lot of action. It was an Extreme Rules match. But it was a lot. So one of the things that happened, Sheamus and Imperium, let me put it like this. Imperium was beating the absolute dog shit out of the Brawling Brutes. It was ridiculous. I thought that this was about to be a squash match at first. Like, that's how crazy Imperium's start to this match was. I dead ass thought to myself, is they about to squash the Brawling Brutes to make Imperium feel bigger or something like that? Yeah, I was like, because if so, that's crazy. I was interrupted while I was recording, so that's why this shit gonna sound a little bit crazy. Like, yo, why does it sound like a skip? Because the dude who was cutting my grass for some reason wanted to talk to me today. Alright? I don't know why. But we get back to the Brawling Brutes match. So, in this Brawling Brutes match, this Donnie Brooke match, the Donnie Brooke. Listen, it was a great match. It was a great way to start off the show. I know I talked about starting the shows like this great, and I went on to the little tangent about the New Day and the Usos. But listen, we staying right here. I'm staying right. I am refocused. This was a great match. I think this match did for this team, and I was thinking this while I was watching this. All the time they spent trying to put the Brawling Brutes over by using the New Day, they didn't have to do that. That's why I say, to me, they done got to the point where using the New Day to put over another tag team done become just, it's a flawed thing now. Because while the New Day can still put people over, the fact of the matter is the crowd does not want to root against the New Day. So it don't matter who you put in that opposing thing. And not only do the crowd not want to root against them, they love the New Day so much, they could care less about the opposing team. As a matter of fact, the team that you got beating them will probably get, not only just, because this is a little bit different when it came to the Viking Raiders. I knew they weren't going to get the reaction you wanted, because we've seen these motherfuckers for years now. You keep restarting the same thing and they do the same thing. I knew the reaction the crowd was going to give them, because the crowd continuously give these dudes the same reaction. They hype 1 minute and then they just die off. They rarely reacted in this entire series to the New Day getting beat up. They only ever got loud for the New Day. When the Viking Raiders were beating New Day up, they were just chanting for the New Day to get back in it. Like, the crowd was so disinterested in the Viking Raiders. They even had a moment where the Viking Raiders was standing tall and the crowd didn't even boo them. They just barely gave them a reaction. Some of them tried to boo, but they didn't even get the reaction. So you just wasted the New Day rub. And now, to me, the New Day and the Usos are in a place where it's so hard for them to put somebody over like you used to have them put people over, because they are just those two teams now. Like, they got to that Roman Reigns, where Roman Reigns is right now. The Usos and the New Day have been there for a minute now as far as tag team wrestling. So it's very hard now to see where the Usos are and to know where the New Day are and to think we could just use them to put over anybody. I just don't think it's possible like it was before, because the crowd want to see the New Day succeed. They want to see New Day as champions again. They want to see New Day on their team, on their TV on a weekly basis. They want to hear the New Day talk. They want the merch. Like, the New Day and the Usos are just at a point where it's too tough to try to use other teams to put over them. It is. I even think, as great as the Profits are, because I think that's like the third best team, like where they could actually push the division forward if given the opportunity. They not nowhere near what the Usos and the New Day are, because the Usos and the New Day done been through the process of becoming great already. They done walked down that road, been through hell and back they done all that. So they already know how to handle all these things. While I don't think the Profits are there yet, the Profits could get there, because the Profits are clearly a great team. I just think it's going to take a shift in their character a little bit. And you can always get them back to being what the Profits are right now. But I think when people look at the Profits and they talk about the New Day and the Usos, they like, well, the Usos and the New Day didn't have to change. Well, they actually did, because the Usos, while we look at them as anti-heels because we like them, we love them, they are still heels. They started off with face paint and all that shit, and they was like good guys. They wanted the crowd's reaction. They are now heels. The New Day started off as faces who had no fucking reaction. They became heel, turned back to baby faces, had a little run where it looked like they was going to turn heel again, and been top baby faces in the company ever since. It's hills and valleys you go through to get a team to where you need to get them to get wrestlers to where you want to get them to. For anybody to get to where they want to get to, you know what I'm saying? It's not always a straight road. So while I understand that right now we think like, yo, the Profits are perfect, they aren't. They aren't perfect right now. And I don't know how I led to the Profits, because they weren't on this show, but that's just me being a wrestling fan. One thing lead to another, and we talking about the Profits. So I love the Profits, but I do think that's like the third best team. And I think a lot of the tag teams should watch how this rivalry is about to play out with the New Day and the Usos. Because this is about to be some of the greatest motherfucking tag team wrestling you ever seen. This is going to be some of the best wrestling you've ever seen. If the WWE give them the next pay-per-view all the way to WrestleMania, this shit's going to be insane. You're going to want more. That's how great these two teams are. It just is what it is. And so where you thought that you would have got the Brawling Brutes to by having them, do that shit to New Day on a weekly basis, it worked for a while, but it didn't really get them to where you wanted to get them to. What they've done with Sheamus, to me, is starting to get them to work. Because last night was the match that they needed to have. That was a great match. Like I said, they got their ass beat for the majority of the opening part of the match. And I don't know how Sheamus signed up to take this type of damage, bro. I don't know how Drew signed up for this type of punishment. They are psychopaths, but credit to them. But this was a brutal match, like most Sheamus matches are. Chest was mincemeat after the match, disgusting. But it was a great match. And to see how they won this match at the end, seeing how they won this match at the end was dope. I like how they held him up. Now, like I said, I still think this match did more for Sheamus. But to me, this is one of the few moments that actually did a lot for the whole team as a whole. Even though I feel like even throughout this match, we didn't see a shit ton of Butch and what's my man's name? Ridge. Like, I thought we saw more from Imperium's Vic and Kaiser than we saw from those two. But either way, it was a great match. I enjoyed this match thoroughly. And Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes ended up winning this when they throw Buddy into a bro kick, which is still one of the dopest finishers in wrestling. And Gunther said the image of a professional wrestler is a dying breed. I don't know about that. Anyways, we went to the next match, was the WWE Women's SmackDown Championship. Of course, it was an Extreme Rules match between Ronda Rousey, the challenger, Liv Morgan, the champion. Win this match. You know which match they're going to play next on a pay-per-view because they show like a highlight video of those two before the match start, of the opponents before the match start. And so once I saw that they was showing Ronda and Liv, I was like, yes, these two at first I thought they was going to start the show. And when they didn't start the show, I was like, man, they probably going to end up closing the show or being like the co-main event. They weren't. They ended up being the second match of the night. And after this was the only match on the entire card that I wasn't really feeling. The ending of it was kind of chaotic because I didn't really realize that Ronda had her locked into a like sleeper type submission until Liv went to sleep. It was just a real hectic type ending. I'm seeing a lot of people say like, yo, people getting mad at Liv, but it really wasn't much she could have done with Ronda. And I understand what you're saying, but I can legitimately look right back at you and say Ronda couldn't have done much else with Liv. Like, I understand there's a lot of Liv fans out there who are fans of Liv just because they think Liv is cute and they like her style and whatnot, because clearly you don't look at her wrestle. Because to think that Ronda was the one being held because she couldn't do much with her opponent was just insane, because neither of the two really are that great in the ring. But I've actually seen Ronda put on far more great matches, and I can just go off the top of my head matches that Ronda done had that was better than any match I've seen Liv in. And now when I name the matches, you'll say, oh, but she had Charlotte, oh, but she had Becky, oh, but she... Well, yeah, that usually wrestling. I'm not getting into all that. Either way, that type of criticism, it fall on deaf ears for me, just because I'm looking at it both ways. It's not like Ronda is so, like Liv is so exponentially better in the ring. I understand she a wrestler. She been in the WWE for a long time. That does not mean she is some god or goddess in the ring. That's just not how that work all times. So this match was it was interesting. It was very sloppy to me, which most matches like this are. Where you have somebody when you have two people who wrestle, like they don't wrestle, neither of them are elite wrestlers to where they can lead the dance like I talk about all the time. You have these type of matches at times. Trying to find something good to say. The best thing that happened is Ronda got the title. Like that's who was supposed to win this match. I will feel that way no matter how the match went. Ronda was supposed to win this match. I didn't want to see them try to find a new way to keep the championship on Liv. I was over that. Where do Ronda go after this? I don't know, but it's a lot of places she could go. They could just run it back real fast and give Liv her rematch. But then I imagine Charlotte gonna show up eventually. I hope Sasha Banks come back eventually, because that would be a great back and forth between her and Ronda. Becky could come through at some point in time. Asuka. I mean, they have people that can go into the ring and put on a great match with Ronda and have a great story. So I'm excited to see it. Now, I do think Ronda got to kind of fix her character a little bit. I understand what Ronda's character is, but Ronda's character changed based on the crowd reaction, and that's kind of irritating, because that means she don't have a character. It's just, I go with how the crowd go. That's going to be hard to help another type of wrestler wrestling with her. So, like, a Liv was always going to be set up for failure in this type of thing. And it was always going to be, how could Liv make herself better even when you don't have the best dance partner? Because Ronda does not play a face or a heel. She dip into both of them based on how she feeling that night and what the crowd giving her. Liv need to be in a feud against somebody who is either heel or face, so she can play her part. And that's how you help Liv grow. So, the only time I've really seen the WWE throw a championship, a women's championship, on one of the women, and they do this with the men too, but I'm specifically talking in the women's division. The only one who I've seen them throw a championship on, who nobody expected to hold a championship, but they actually killed their run, was Carmella. So it's not easy to do what Liv was trying to do. I don't think a lot of people who we don't hold to the standard of a Charlotte, a Sasha, a Becky, when they get the championship, yeah, sure, we expect them to be great with it. When Bianca had her first title run, I expected her to be great because what Bianca is. I don't look at Liv in the same way, but I don't look at Carmella the way I look at Bianca, and Carmella is one of the greats to me, and she killed her runs. I think every single championship run she had was unexpected, and I think she killed every single one of them. And so it's hard to do what Liv was trying to do, but she'll be better her second time around. I don't imagine when she have another title run it'll be with Ronda first, but I mean, she could eventually get back to Ronda, and she'd probably be better by that point. I think Liv got to kind of tweak her in-ring moves a little bit. She do a lot of moves that's not fluid, like where you could perform it 100 times and it's not fluid enough to where it look crisp. Like, I just think that if she tweaked her moves a little bit so she could get these bad boys down packed and they could look as crisp as her outfits she posts, that would be a huge improvement in Liv Morgan's game. And for Ronda, I'm just interested to see who they have her face off next. I'm pretty sure her next feud will be better than this one. I don't know what was going on with this one, but also they got to figure something out with this crowd shit, bro. They got to figure out if she gonna be a heel or a face. Like, she can't keep changing with the crowd. That just, I don't know. To me, this was the only low part of the show, unless I'm forgetting something else. But Ronda did end up winning that match. Leather strap match was next. Drew McIntyre took on Karrion Kross with Scarlett Bordeaux in the corner. I hate Karrion Kross's entrance. I done hated it since he was bald. By the way, shout out to Karrion Kross on the new head of hair. My boy looked real smooth with that. I actually think that was a smart decision, because I like Karrion Kross with the hair more than I like Karrion Kross without the hair. But I also saw this whole match and just realized to myself, I have never seen Karrion Kross fight a whole match. And I don't know if this was a leather strap match and that's what threw it off a little bit. But I would like to I got to go back and watch Karrion Kross wrestle some matches, because this match was really a leather strap match. That was the genesis of this match. It was like a hardcore match, and the majority of the things that were happening was the strap being used. That was the genesis of the match. It really was no like epic moves and things like that. And the way that this match ended was Drew McIntyre being maced in the face with some pepper spray, I guess it was, by Scarlett Bordeaux, that ended up getting the win for Karrion. Hit his elbow, the back of the neck elbow, and he ended up getting a 1-2-3. This match was straight. This was probably I saw a lot of people didn't enjoy this match. It was straight to me. I think my biggest problems with this match is the fact that Drew McIntyre really don't put nobody over. And I don't understand why he is not booked to put people over clean. Like, I understand that this was a no DQ match, so technically the way that Buddy won was clean, but we not stupid. Like, and I'm really trying to think of the last time Drew McIntyre lost a match in which the guy made him tap or pinned him and needed no help, no outside interference, no flukiness throughout the entirety of the match. He just straight up went in there and beat Drew McIntyre. I don't remember the last time that's happened. And the fact that he is booked like this, which I done said multiple times, the fact that he is booked like this don't help nobody but Drew. Because, yeah, Drew can stay in the main event scene forever now, but he not a champion. He is not. I understand he might be one of your top guys, because it's not even that he one of your top guys just because he one of your top guys. He one of your top guys because he being used like a John Cena, basically. Except for John Cena. Well, actually, shit, when John was losing, he was losing exactly how Drew McIntyre is losing. Always outside interference, always getting jumped, always sneaky underhanded tactics. Like, he never is going to lose 1, 2, 3. And for the people out there who say, well, Roman lost clean to Brock Lesnar. Roman lost clean to Bobby Lashley. Roman has lost clean to Seth Rollins. Roman has lost clean multiple times before he became what he is now. That's one of the reasons it helped him become what he is, because we saw Roman lose and struggle in the past, even though y'all tried to build him as a John Cena type of character. The problem wasn't how he was being booked necessarily on the winning side. It was how his character was. The stupid catchphrases and the suffering succotash line and all the dumbass things that they had his character doing. That was the problem with Roman. He could have been a great babyface if they hadn't have booked him like he was a cartoon babyface. But him being a heel, I always felt was going to be the best thing for him. However, he went through hills, it's like I said, hills and valleys. If Drew McIntyre's biggest heel was, oh, I got released by the WWE, I left, I got bigger and in shape, and I came back. Bruh, how many times we gonna hear that goddamn story? To me, at this point, the WWE has a Drew McIntyre problem. And much like and listen, they telling me that the new person in charge is Triple H. He booking Drew just like he fucking booked, like Vince booked Drew. I see no difference. If Drew can't take a clean loss to Roman Reigns, who can Drew take a clean loss to? Like, it just he didn't take a clean loss to Bobby Lashley when he faced him. They didn't even finish the match between him and Kevin Owens. Who does Drew, like, Drew is Drew McIntyre week in, week out, and that is not a good thing at this point. I'm sorry. I know it's little kids out there that's going to love Drew McIntyre, the character, because they see a superhero looking character. But, man, real wrestling fans who into this thing, man, I'm just trying to tell you, bro, it's ways you could get Drew to that level where he could take that championship off of Roman. But it just ain't happening. And somebody tweeted this on Twitter last night. The only viable wrestler right now who is booked strong enough and properly enough to be able to take that championship off of Roman Reigns is Bianca Belair. And that is a fucking fact. And that's not me, being mad at the WWE saying, oh, you booking people wrong. No. It's just off of the booking that's going on right now. Bianca has been booked as strong as Roman, and she's had the hills and valleys in her booking. Drew McIntyre's shit is the same through and through. I actually thought Bianca was going to lose last night, by the way. But Drew's shit is the same through and through. So that's where I'm at with Drew. I just don't get excited to see Drew anymore. I'm over Drew McIntyre. And I hate to say that, the character, not the person. I don't find any enjoyment in watching any feuds that involve Drew McIntyre. The next match, speaking of Bianca, was Bianca Belair taking on Bayley. Listen, this match, I knew that the Edge match and the Seth Rollins match would come after these matches, but I do wish that this match was the main event or the co-main event. I kind of understand why it wasn't, but I really do wish it was, because this was a great match. Bianca Belair, bro, she had by far the best ring gear on the night. Just throw that out there. Like the gold, the white, the blue. So I'm saying, bro, when your champion wear gold, it's game time. Bianca Belair, bro. I'm telling you, Bianca Belair is her. I rave about how great she is, how I know one day she's gonna be booked to. It's like how I said about I'm no Nostradamus because I knew the New Day Uso shit was coming. If you don't see the Charlotte Flair Bianca Belair storyline coming, you are fucking blind. They played a Charlotte Flair video last night during one of their commercial things, because they don't really have commercials during these pay-per-views. They have like wrestling commercials. So they showed like a Charlotte Flair highlight video of basically the GOAT Charlotte Flair, because I do look at Charlotte Flair as being the GOAT. And that told me they might be accelerating the process to her versus Charlotte. They might not even take Bayley to WrestleMania. Now, I do hope they find a way to get Bayley to WrestleMania against Bianca, but I don't know if it happened this year. See, my thing is I really don't want to see Bianca lose at WrestleMania, except for to Charlotte. I would not mind her losing her first WrestleMania to Charlotte, especially if it's an epic match, because the story that they can tell with her and Charlotte, the story they could tell with her and Charlotte could legitimately be better than the story they told with her and with her and Becky. It just is what it is. Yeah, I know I love Becky, but I know what Charlotte Flair is. I know what Charlotte Flair means to the WWE. Charlotte Flair is a Mount Rushmore wrestler. Bianca Belair is going to be on the Mount Rushmores. You can see what Bianca Belair is from a mile away. She is the walking GOAT, future GOAT. You know it with everything she does. She is everything she tells you she is with an EST at the end of it. The bestest, the fastest, the smartest, the strongest, all of it. She is her. And so is Charlotte. And Charlotte been her for a long time. And as much as the fans would like to say that somebody done knocked Charlotte off of that pedestal, we know they haven't. Charlotte is the opportunity. We know that. The queen, the opportunity, the it in the women's division, the it in wrestling. She was a Roman Reigns type of character long before Roman Reigns became what he is. Charlotte Flair. It's no coincidence that motherfuckers like Charlotte and Bianca hit heights faster than other greats do, because it's hard not to immediately know what to do with talent like that. That's why this road has always led to Charlotte and Bianca. Whether we get it this year, next year, we're gonna get it, because the roads have always led to these two taking on each other. They are everything we think they are. And if you hate Charlotte, then I really hate that for you, because you're missing the greatest woman competitor in WWE history, and in my opinion, wrestling. Of all the wrestling I've ever watched in my life, I have never seen a Charlotte Flair. I've never seen a Sasha Banks or Becky, but I have the complete package. The closest thing to Charlotte I've ever seen was Bianca. And it ain't even like the closest. Like normally when people say the closest thing they've seen to somebody, they know they're never going to put that person over them. So if I say that, then I would say Sasha. But the closest thing I've ever seen to Charlotte, knowing that this person could be as great as Charlotte, if not better, is going to be, is Bianca. And how often do you get two GOATs in the same era? Yeah, Bianca a little bit behind Charlotte a little bit. Charlotte been here for a little bit long. But Charlotte in her prime. Bianca is in her prime. WWE primes last a long time when you're great. I'm telling you right now, think of some of the great rivalries we done had. New Day Usos, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, John Cena, Edge, Randy Orton. Think of some Trish, Lita. Like, think of some of the greatest rivalries we've ever had in all time throughout the history of the WWE. Charlotte Bianca is about to become one. Bianca Becky, Charlotte Becky, Charlotte Ronda, like Charlotte Sasha, like Sasha Bayley. Think of all these great rivalries and just understand Bianca is about to, for one, Bianca created a great rivalry with everybody she compete against at this point because she is her. But she's going to create that with Charlotte. But I've gotten ahead of myself. In this match, Bianca, this was a great match. I liked how they used the ladders and what. I'm always interested to see how Bianca doing these type of matches because they don't really usually put her in these type of matches where she gotta use weapons and whatnot. And I just think that speak even highlier of how great she is in the ring without ever having to use weapons and shit. Excuse me, and shit like that to get a pop. And the crowd's reaction to Jesus Christ, they was just as loud as her hometown. Like, the crowd loved. I'm pretty sure it was a video I saw the pay-per-view, but somebody recorded the video of that section of the when Bianca won the match, because spoiler, Bianca did win the match. When she was sitting on the top of the ladder at the top like the queen, the goddess that she is, the crowd went crazy. Like, the crowd went nuts. I'm telling you, if you've never been to a WWE pay-per-view, you got to get to one and pray that some big shit happen when you get there, or pray that you with a crowd that appreciate greatness. So I done been very lucky that when I've went to WWE pay-per-views, shows, and things like that, I've always, every time I done went, I would say I done been able to go to something great happen when I went. I was there at the Raw when Dean Ambrose came back. I was at one of the Raws where Paul Heyman and Brock came out. I was at I was at a pay-per-view where The Fiend came out. I done been to a lot of great pay-per-views and whatnot, or great shows and whatnot. So I've always been with crowds that I was there when Kofi beat Randy Orton, not at the WrestleMania one, but the pay-per-view they had after that one, I believe it was. Like, the crowds, bro, the Kofi Kingston reaction was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I think the loudest reaction I done heard when I was at a pay-per-view, I was there when Charlotte lost to, I went to a Charlotte pay-per-view where Charlotte lost. The crowd was not happy about that shit. The crowd was not happy because that's her hometown, I guess. Bruh, if you could have seen the merch they was moving for Charlotte in Charlotte, bro, it was crazy. But the reaction, I think the loudest reaction I'd ever been a part of when I was at one of these WWE shows, whether it be a pay-per-view or a Raw or SmackDown, was when Brock Lesnar showed up. Bro, when Brock Lesnar showed up, it was deafening. I was at a show when Braun came out and it was pretty loud. This was like early Braun Strowman. But when Brock Lesnar, because I'll never forget it, like when Brock Lesnar showed up, and this was when he was still like heel Brock Lesnar. When this motherfucker showed up, bro, the crowd just erupted. Because I don't think he was scheduled to show up. Like, it was just a surprise that he was there. And I never forget looking at this motherfucker walk to the ring, bro. I'm like, yo, this like one of the biggest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. Like, he looked every bit as vicious as he looked on TV. I wish I could have seen him live when he had the beard and the ponytail, like looking like a Viking or something. But that was like the loudest reaction I'd ever seen when I was at a show, unless I'm forgetting something. The Fiend reaction was loud, but I don't think they realized that was the Fiend at first. It like got loud, progressively louder. But when Brock's when that shit hit, my dude, people around me jumped out their seats. I'm looking at the people across the stadium or arena going crazy. I'm like, bro, it's deafening in here. Like, it was legitimately deafening when Brock Lesnar's music hit and he strolled on out. But Io Sky and Dakota Sky, obviously, they came out and they interfered towards the end of this match. I actually thought they were going to get Bayley to win. Like, I thought Bayley was going to win this match. And when Bianca, like when Bayley put the ladder on top of Bianca and Bianca bench, before she even did it, I tweeted, I was like, man, Bianca about to bench press this little weight right here. Bianca about to bench. You don't know, we eat this for breakfast, Bayley. So Bianca did end up getting the big time dub, but the reaction to Bianca after the match was just insane. And it's like I be thinking, like, Bianca really do, like, I done seen a lot of great, like Sasha, but bro, the thing about Bianca remind me of all the strong black women in my life and that I done come across in life. I'm not saying that Sasha don't remind me of other strong black women and whatnot, but I can relate so much to Bianca of seeing how she act and seeing the things she do and she say and how she carry herself. It just reminds me of so many of the strong black women and the black women period that I've run across in my lifetime. And I think that's one of the reasons she is so inspirational to so many people, so many young girls, so many little black girls. Like Bianca, to me, I look at Bianca the way I look at like y'all look at some of these heroes and shit like that. Bianca is a superhero. To me, she is a John Cena, Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair type of character. Now, she ain't on that level yet as far as her accomplishments, but she gonna get there. I'm telling you, just wait for that Charlotte Bianca feud, bro. I cannot wait till Bianca trying to look around and see who's next. And then that Charlotte Flair music hit, my boy. Oh my God. The crowd gonna erupt because they know what that means. They know what that means. They know that is greatness they are about to witness. Like I said about the Usos and the New Day, about to give you the greatest tag team wrestling you done watched in years. Yeah, that's Charlotte and Bianca. But after that, we got to the I Quit match with Judgment. Boy, what a fucking match. So I'm going to fast forward to the end of this match where everything started going off the wires. And then you get Judgment Day as a whole getting involved in this match. And they handcuff Rhea Ripley, handcuff Edge's hands to the ropes. Now, I thought they was about to beat Edge senseless. I thought they all was going to get like kendo sticks or something and just beat Edge within an inch of his life. That is not what happened. They ended up looking like a bunch of goofballs, which I'm so happy that this segment ended the way it did, because if it had ended like this, I would have been so disappointed. But Beth Phoenix eventually got involved, which I thought was going to happen. Like, I kept telling myself, I think Beth might end up getting involved here. And she did. And once she got involved, I immediately knew the WWE had a decision to make. Beth gotta get hurt. Beth gotta get hurt. And so, it was looking like Beth was going to help Edge win this match. But out of nowhere, Rhea Ripley clocked Beth Phoenix cold with some brass motherfucking knuckles. I mean, she cold clocked. Beth was dead. She was dead. Beth was dead. Dead. Beth was out. And so Edge paying attention to it, they telling him, bro, is you gonna quit? Like, they hit this motherfucker with, they held him down and hit him with multiple coup de grace. I don't know how his rib cage didn't just, his appendix didn't burst, his rib cage ain't shattered. That was crazy. And he did have a spot where he hit Finn with like 5 different motherfucking spears. The shit was crazy. This was a great match. Like, you should go back and watch this match, the Bianca match, the Brawling Brutes match. The only match I just really wouldn't advise too much is the Ronda Rousey one, the Ronda and Liv Morgan one. That one wasn't really as exciting. But the ending of this match was just all live. Once they held Edge down and he would not say he quit, they bring in 2 chairs. And they pull him in front of his motherfucking wife, the mother of his children. They put her head on top of that chair. And Edge starting to feel like this is looking very familiar. I remember when I did this to that old man Ric Flair on the stage, and that motherfucker was twitching and shit like he had just been decapitated. I'm very familiar with what's about to transpire right now. And they gave him one more chance. Like, my boy, I'm not playing with you. Now, I just want to tell Beth, Edge don't love you like you think he do. Because he hesitated to say, I quit at first. That man ego was about to, his ego in his head quickly weighed the odds of letting my wife take a concerto or me saying I quit. Beth, that's all I'm saying. Now, Beth, I know you wasn't aware of this choice that was happening because you was out cold. And boy, it didn't get no worse, man. We talk about concussions in the NFL. Well, good God. Because Edge did indeed quit. He did indeed say I quit. But much like when they told Dominic to join the Judgment Day, and he joined the Judgment Day just so they could stop him from hurting Ray, We don't play like that, baby. That's not a real commitment. That's not a real I quit, Edge. So much like we still fucked up your pops when you gave us that weak shit, we still gonna fuck up the mother of your kids because of that weak ass I quit. See, that's what they say. You better mean it when you apologize, motherfucker. Because you never know how left shit could go. Because Edge gave him that weak ass fine, I'll quit just because you got my wife in a vice grip right now. They said, cool. Because we still gonna fuck your wife up. And Rhea Ripley delivered a devastating Edge cheer though. I'm gonna call it that. Because Edge, this is your fault. All you had to do was put your ego aside. But you didn't want to see these young dudes, these young bulls, these young lions in the Judgment Day succeed. You didn't want them to feel that glory of beating you. No, you wanted to get on Monday night and be like, I won. I might have lost the battle, but I'll win the war. Nah, my G. See, they say now we gonna win the battle, the war, and we gonna win your household, motherfucker. Hey, Judgment Day leveled up. They became elite last night. That is absolutely phenomenal booking on the half of Triple H or whoever the fuck doing the booking, since everybody give it to Triple H nowadays. That was absolutely phenomenal booking. This is what I've been waiting for from the Judgment Day. I've been waiting for these motherfuckers to evolve. And I'm not mad that it took so long, even though I was mad it was taking so long. It have a funny way of working itself out like this when you get what you finally was waiting to see. Now, I kind of wish Dominic had delivered the Contreras, because that would have made it even crazier. But Rhea Ripley delivering it means a lot too, because now you could actually start booking Rhea to take on Bianca if you want to hold off on the Charlotte feud, because Rhea Ripley is now starting to become what we wanted Rhea Ripley to be. And I'm so happy for Rhea. I'm so happy for Finn. I'm so happy for Dame Priest, who I thought they should kick out of the group a couple weeks back. I apologize, Dame. And of course I'm happy for Dom. I still think Dom need to hit the gym a little bit, because him getting in better shape would immensely make his character 10 times better, along with Rhea Ripley. But Finn Balor, bro, you got to talk to this dude Kaiser. He trying to be you, my boy. He trying to be you. That's all I'm saying. But this was an absolute level up. To me, this was probably the best thing that happened on the show. Just in the sense of I love where this story finally went. And the last match of the night was the fight pit match between Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle. Basically, it was no ropes on the ring. A cage came down, and a cage came down on top of that cage with like a small walking platform going around the cage. And this was a decent match. I think the reason I said Bianca match should have been the main event, and that and I would have even had the main event be Bianca with the co-main event be the Edge match. Just based off of how them two matches turned out. But this was a great match at the end of the day. I'm gonna skip towards the end. Matt Riddle ended up winning this match with a triangle choke. I'm interested to see how, like, is this the end of this feud? Because Rollins is supposed to take on Bobby Lashley this Monday, like tonight, for the United States Championship. So I'm kind of confused on what's going on right there. I don't, like, Rollins got so many feuds going on at one time. Like, I'm so confused about that. But yeah, Daniel Cormier was the special guest referee. I thought it was going to be more between him and Seth. It really didn't turn into nothing much more than, yo, don't put your hands on me. I thought Seth was going to be starting to pull out those John Jones jokes at the end, like, yo, you didn't have this type of energy when John Jones slept your ass. We didn't get none of that. And so, you know, that was very shocking to me. But it was a good match at the end. Matt Riddle finally got a win, like his first win in like 7 feuds or some shit. Or since Randy left. Nah, he was beating the Usos on a regular basis. But with that, if I had to judge the show out of a 5 stars, I'm giving it a 5 stars. Now I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 this time. I'm going to give it like 4.5 stars out of 5. Because I really wasn't feeling the Ronda Rousey Liv Morgan match. And while the strap match was a decent match, I really wasn't feeling that one either. But other than that, bro, I think the rest of the shows more than made up for it. Because like the Donnie Brooke match was a 5-star match. The with a 5-star ending. Bianca and Bayley match was a 5-star match with a 5-star ending and a 5-star reaction. Judgment Day was a 10 out of 10 match for me with the ending, all that. And I like the main event, so I think I missed a match on here, but I'm not sure. But either way, with that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Wrestling with Saint, the Extreme Rules recap. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. God bless wrestling. Saint out.
You don't understand what's happening here. I'm in God mode nowadays, son. I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of your table. I'm the provider around here, huh? I'm the greatest of this generation, no questions asked. I'm the greatest universal champion of all time, which makes me the greatest to ever do this.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home.